TUKAcutplan is a material requirement planning or MRP software. This software works with the SmartMark automatic marker making system to plan and implement the best utilization for fabric costing, purchasing, and allocation. Buy what you need and use what you bought. All of it. Costs and constraints. TUKAcutplan creates a fabric cutting plan based on the cost of materials, labor, and other fixed operating costs. The cost of fabric accounts for the price per yard, and the end loss for each ply. To calculate the cost of cutting and spreading per yard, multiply the cost per minute by the number of minutes per yard. First, break down the hourly wage into a cost per minute. For example, a cutting operator paid $15 an hour, divided by 60 minutes, costs $0.25 per minute. Next, calculate how many minutes it takes the operator to cut 1 yard. In this case, he can manually cut an average of 40 perimeter inches per minute, so 36 inches for a yard would take 0.9 minutes to cut. Multiply $0.25 a minute by 0.9 minutes per yard to get a cutting cost of $0.225 per yard. Do the same calculations for the cost of spreading per yard. The spreading operator can manually spread 3 yards per minute, so 1 yard takes 0.333 minutes to spread. Multiply the same wage rate of $0.25 a minute times 0.333 yards a minute to get a spreading cost of $0.083 per yard. Calculate the time it takes to spread and cut the fabric by recording and logging the start and end times. Additionally, the TUKAmark summary report includes information like marker length and cut length so production managers can estimate the time and cost for spreading and cutting. Just don't forget to account for the real number of people used in the cutting room. The fixed marking cost is the overhead cost of running the cutting room. This can include things like daily rent and electricity, as well as consumables like underlay paper and roll separation during spreading, blades for the cutting machine, and cost of bundling. If additional sizes create additional costs, this can also be accounted for. TUKAcutplan considers both material and labor costs to generate the best cut plan that will save the most money. Whatever the cost of fabric, the cost of labor and overhead will vary from country to country. If the labor and overhead cost more than the fabric, the system will prioritize reducing labor costs. If the fabric costs more than the labor and overhead, the system will focus more on fabric savings. Of course, the system also factors in the cutting room constraints, such as the maximum table length, maximum ply height, style geometry, fabric width, and estimated fabric utilization. From all these constraints and costs, TUKAcutplan generates the most efficient cutting plan with the number of markers, cuts, bundles, and plies to spread. Use cases: costing, purchasing, and allocation. TUKAcutplan for garment costing. TUKAcutplan can be used during the costing stage to more accurately estimate the cost of materials for a style, based on historical data. It's important for salesmen to know the true cost of producing a style, so they have more power to negotiate prices with buyers. For the closest estimate, add scaling or shrinkage to the graded pattern in TUKAdesign. Enter the shrinkage values given by the fabric mill. For example, the mill might give 4% shrinkage in the width, and 5% shrinkage in the length, with a tolerance of 2%. For costing, we want to use the high-end estimate, so enter 6% in the width and 7% in the length. Save this pattern as a new file, so the original 00 pattern is undisturbed. Create an order for this style file in TUKAmark, with 1 bundle in each size, and the smallest cuttable fabric width. For example, when ordering 60-inch fabric, create a 58-inch marker to account for the 1-inch selvage on both sides. It is not necessary to run the marker before saving it, however, Opening a nested marker file in TUKAcutplan will automatically set the efficiency estimation. In TUKAcutplan, select the marker file and material. Use historical purchase orders for similar styles to estimate the order quantities and ratios for each size. The efficiency section tells the system approximately how efficient the markers will be, based on the number of bundles. It will aim to place the maximum number of bundles with the best efficiency. Here the efficiency value is estimated automatically, based on the nested marker. Increase the maximum bundles allowed, in this case 30 bundles per marker, which creates 30 fields with efficiency estimates below. Note that even though the maximum bundles is set to 30, if 30 bundles will not fit in the maximum marker length, the system will not place 30 bundles. Efficiency estimates can be edited based on historical data. For example, a similar previous style gave about 85% efficiency with 18 bundles. Right-click and select the +1 and -1 option to adjust the other bundle values accordingly. Click the Cut Plan button to calculate the best cut plan based on this hypothetical order scenario. This scenario would require one marker with 20 bundles and 200 plies to produce 40 bundles. If this result is satisfactory for costing, click Send to SmartMark NetQ to run the marker. Repeat this process for the other materials, such as contrasts or linings. Be sure to change the cuttable fabric width if necessary. Open the yield report to get the average fabric yield per unit for this style. Costing from a realistic production scenario with graded sizes and order ratios provides a more accurate average yield, compared to costing from only the base size, or even a size run. Use this report to estimate the unit cost for this style, inform salesmen of the true price margins, and book production orders. TUKAcutplan for fabric purchasing. If you are like most apparel manufacturers, you are probably purchasing more fabric than you really need to produce an order. This equates to money from your pocket, or piles of fabric waste. After receiving a production order, use TUKAcutplan to purchase the correct amount of fabric and save money. The steps to create a cut plan are the same, however, in this case we have a real order and can calculate the actual fabric requirements. This purchase order is for the same style in 5 colorways. Each fabric color has different shrinkage, so the pattern will need to be adjusted for 5 sets of shrinkage values. Starting in TUKA Design 2024, users can take advantage of the style variation feature, which allows for all sets of shrinkage values to be saved in a single style file and loaded automatically in TUKAmark. Create marker orders for each colorway and fabric shrinkage. Enter the order values in TUKAcutplan in the same way as before, for each color and material, taking care to change the fabric width as needed. Now the yield report shows the real yardage required to complete the order. Business owners must have a policy that fabric will never be purchased without a yield report justifying the quantity. This practice has saved some manufacturers millions of dollars a year. TUKAcutplan for roll allocation. Up until this point, the cut plans have been based partially on historical or hypothetical data. After the fabric arrives, a new cut plan can be created, based on the real measurements and characteristics of the materials actually received. After the shrinkage has been tested for each fabric color and lot, the shrinkage value sets can be updated for the TUKA design style file. When creating the marker orders in TUKAmark, change the fabric width according to the real measurement of the fabric roll. For example, when ordering 60-inch fabric, the roll received might really be as much as 61 to 63 inches wide, which means more cuttable width. Using these extra inches of fabric width gives 1 to 5% better fabric consumption and results in less material waste. Follow the same steps to create a cut plan, keeping in mind that the fabric rolls might be delivered in multiple lots, with different shrinkage values, fabric widths, and limited lengths of the same fabric. Enter the yardage limit for this lot, then click Cut Plan to see how much of this order can be produced with this fabric based on the constraints. In this scenario, it's impossible to complete the order with this lot of fabric. Launch another instance of TUKAcutplan, and make a cut plan for the next fabric lot with the proper fabric width, length, and shrinkage, and copy the order balance to complete the order. Planning for multiple colors. TUKAcutplan can also plan for multiple fabric colors. However, this is only possible if the fabric shrinkage and cuttable fabric width is exactly the same for all colors. Nesting multiple styles. For various reasons, some styles may not give good fabric utilization. However, if there are multiple styles that use the same fabric, these styles can be combined to get better utilization. In TUKAmark, create an order with multiple styles, then bring the order into TUKAcutplan. The system will create the cut plan for all the styles combined. Material requirement planning with TUKAcutplan is more than just having the right software. It's using the power of good information at each stage of the production process, to buy only the materials required, and to use everything received.